Greetings out there in YouTube land. This is Morris, man. As always, I thank you guys for coming to my channel. Today I'm going to use the mic that's built into the camera because for some reason the mic that I got here is, or should I say, well, I'm having issues with that mic. It's buzzing and it's really loud. So I think this is sufficient. This video is a request from DTNA. Shout out to you. Appreciate you. He had a question. He asked me could I do a video explaining or giving my opinion on this question. And the question is, would you please do a video on how you sell a guitar online? What website would you use or do you use? And I'm going to answer that. And I'm going to touch on a few that you should avoid at all costs, you know. And the number one, the one to avoid with all costs is Craigslist. Leave Craigslist alone. Unfortunately, Craigslist has become infested with a bunch of scam people. I mean, it was a good idea when it came out, but now you got a whole lot of scammers on there because many years ago I tried Craigslist and this is what happened. You put up an ad, you know, you're selling something or you're looking to buy something, and you can set it up where when you set up your ad that you do not enter that divulge your email information. And here's why you don't want to do that. When you put an ad out there and put your email, well, let me just say this, when you don't do that, you know, people will respond and you will get their reply, but they don't have your email address at this point. So what scammers do is this, and this is real stupid. It's like criminals are dumb for a reason, because they're dumb. Usually when you're placing an ad, you got two things that you don't want to admit. What you're selling and how much you're selling it for. You know, so you put those in your header, and then what I guess you call them the fishers would do is this. They will send you an inquiry about your item. And and this has happened to me a couple of times. I get an email from somebody or inquiry, or how much you want for it. Now that's right there in the header in big bold letters. So they don't want that information because that information is already there. What they're trying to do, once you respond to that nonsense, they have your email address. And it's like, well, what's the big deal about that? Then they put you on hundreds and hundreds of lists of selling garbage or scamming, you know, scam inquiries. So you can make $500 a day, blah, 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 you know, whatever, and you respond to that. So I would not recommend Craigslist at all. I remember also, because this is how it used to work years ago, you know, many years ago before the internet. Your local paper, there used to be a paper in my area called Trading Time. And the majority of the people that sold stuff, if not all, were musicians. Like, okay, I'm selling the guitar, I'm a guitar player. You call them, you get information, then you go over there and pick it up, you know. Now you got these scared ass people. Oh, I don't want to come to your house. Oh, meet me at a coffee shop. And it's like, if you're that scared, and you do need to be cautious sometimes. I'm not saying that you don't. But if you're that scared, take your ass to Guitar Center, you know, and buy a guitar. Instead of pulling somebody out of their house and they got to go to a neutral place and hand over stuff. And that might be okay for small stuff. I'm like, I'm not wagging no fucking guitar out to a coffee shop. Here it is. Go to Guitar Center. You know, take your scary ass to Guitar Center. You know, so I didn't like that. I'm like, it was working before. Because, I mean, think about this. And there are exceptions to the rules. No one's going to invite you to your house, to their house, and kill you. Most people, I mean, probably 99.9% ain't. Now, you might have with that 1% is crazy people that will try to do that, you know, but, you know, for the most part, it's somewhat safe. And if you just don't feel safe about it, just go to another ad, you know, just that simple. If you feel in your gut, something ain't right here, follow your gut and just go to another ad, you know, make another inquiry. So, because then I'm counting down the ones that you don't want to, and then I'm going to leave you with the one that you should. So I'm going to speed this up. I'm not going to drag this out. So the second one is, I think the subscriber mentioned about Guitar Center. It's like, Guitar Center is great to buy stuff. But as far as You having them handle your dealings as far as selling on your behalf. The problem with that is now you done added a middleman, because of course they got to get paid, or they want to get paid, and they should get paid. So you want to eliminate any additional expenditures as possible, because the more you eliminate, the more you can put money in your pocket as far as the sale of your guitar. And then, you know, you don't make that much money on Guitar Center as far as selling something. And it's not like you're trying to get a big payday. It's like, I got a guitar that's worth about $100 and I want $100. And still, I get 75, then I got to pay Guitar Center, and then I get what's left, you know. If that works for you, and if, you know, you press for money, you do what you got to do. But I wouldn't recommend having them sell your guitar. Another one is Reverb. Reverb is one of the most expensive sites on the internet, which is ridiculous. I will give Reverb this. They have a large selection of stuff to look at and buy. I mean, I think they got more than the number one, which I'm going to mention in a minute. But they stuff is just, it's too high. I mean, the sellers are just, they done lost their minds. It's like, everybody want $100 for this module. You want $300 on Reverb. It's like, good luck with that, you know. And it's not just a few dollars more than all the other sites. It's usually double. I've seen it triple. You know, I bought this sound module, the Kawai XD5 is a sound drum module, and I paid, I think, $200 for it. It's worth $200. It's probably worth maybe $300 at the most, pushing it. There's a guy on there, I think he maybe didn't gave up by now, $1,500. $1,500. And everybody else selling this for about $300. He want $15. That's more than triple, you know? And you get a lot of that on Reverb. So I'm like, leave Reverb alone. It was one more before I give you the answer to the question as far as the best one. I can't think of the other one, but that's really not important. Believe it or not, and I've had some run-ins with this particular site for the longest, and their policies are just getting ridiculous. It's eBay. eBay is probably the best place to sell your gear. Now, what eBay has just done, and I would never, ever sell anything on eBay. Now, I still buy all day long on eBay because there's some great prices, and they kind of have a system set up where, you know, you're protected if something goes south, you being the buyer or you being the seller, you know. So I would say eBay hands down. Now, here's the problem with eBay now. It used to be like this. Form of payment, PayPal, you know, safe, quick. Now they want your checking router number. And I asked them, like, why do you need that? I got PayPal. They send it to my PayPal. I send them the item and we done. We don't do it like that anymore. We need your checking account. And I told them, I said, I don't have one. And I'm playing stupid. I'm like, so what do I do? Because I don't have one. You know, because I'm like, I'm not giving you that. That's the purpose of PayPal for me, to keep that separate from my checking account. I don't want nobody tied into my checking account, got my router number. I don't, you know, that's totally separate. You know, and that, again, that's the purpose of why I set up a PayPal account, because I'm like, I'm not diving into this. I don't want this to even be a part of this transaction. You know, but now eBay is going to force you, because they didn't say that they had limited my account, meaning that I can't sell. No problem. I'm not selling on there anyway anymore. You know, but it's just a lot of go that they're going to force this sensitive information out of you. No, you're not. I'll take my business elsewhere. You know, so in spite of that, you know, for you guys that don't have a problem with that, because I got a major problem with that, because we've been conditioned when we go to these stores or companies that just because they ask for this information, you feel compelled to give it to them. It's just like when I used to go to CVS. What's your phone number? I don't have one. Here's my cash. We're done. You know, and I had a lady, she was being honest with me one day, because I used to go in there a lot, and we built a good, you know, a good relationship, you know, real friendly. And I said, let me ask you a question. Do they use that information other than keeping it within the company when they ask for your number? She said, yeah. She said, they sell your phone number. Put it, you end up on somebody's sellers list, or hundreds of people's or companies or scammers sellers list. I'm like, thank you. Because I thought that too. That's why I would never give it. And then another reason why I would never give it, because I'm like, why would I need to give you that? 99% of the time I go to CVS, I pay in cash. You know, so I'm like, you don't need nothing from me but my greenback. And here's my greenback. We're done. You know, you're not getting my phone number because there's no reason for you to have my phone number. Or we just like to keep it, and you're not keeping nothing. Only thing you're taking is the money that I'm giving you for the purchase, you know. And you have to be leery of that and be courageous enough to stand up and say, no, thank you. I'm not interested in that. I'm not going to give you that, you know. I'm just not, you know. I don't see a reason why I need to do that, you know. Somewhere out there, your phone number floating around and your email address floating around and all that. You know, protect your private information, you know. And let me just say this to end this, but the answer to the question is eBay. Hands down, eBay. Stay away from Craigslist. Stay away from Craigslist. Reverb, you know, you can go there because it would probably be in your benefit because you might get more money, but that's going to take a long time to sell something that's overpriced 3 times over. It's like, come on now, you know. Unless you lucky enough to find the dumbest person on the planet to know nothing about the value of music equipment. Oh, okay, I'll buy it. $1,500 is what you want, you know. But keep in mind this too. I had a guy years ago. He was one of my students, and I was teaching him fingerstyle playing. You know, he's like, man, you play well. And I want to play like that. I'm like, so, you know, he came back and, you know, and I gave him, you know, some lessons, and he said, how do you sell your guitar so fast? And there's an answer to that question is, and you guys can do your research, and some of you have. The guitars that I sell, first of all, are quality guitars. They're ready to play. The action is great on them. No issues. If there are, I will tell you. But I don't buy anything that have issues. Anything that shows up on my doorstep that have issues, it gets sent back. You know, so there's not going to be an issue, or one of the pickles are not working, or, you know, or the neck is kind of warped, and none of that. You know, that junk, and this junk, it goes back. You know, so that's one reason why I'm able to sell it, because the quality and then the pricing. And like I just said, I tell people, I'm like, do your research. This, what I'm selling on other sites is 2, sometimes 3 times more. So do the math. So he was like, I'm having a problem selling my guitar. And I said, what guitar you got? And he showed me. And I said, what do you want for this? And he told me, I'm saying to myself, dude, you're not getting that. You're not getting that. That's why no one's buying it, because it's too fucking high. You know, there's some people that don't either have a clue on the value of their stuff, or they're just greedy and think somebody else is this dumb that they're going to spend twice as much for your item when they can go to eBay or any other place and get it for cheaper. So, you know, I told myself, well, I think this is a tad bit hot, man, for this guitar, you know. And, well, you know, I'm going to keep it up there. And he kept it up there for about 4 months, and he got tired and took it down, because I'm like, nobody's, you know, even with sometimes when you have a guitar that's worth what you're selling it for, and I've sold many guitars like that, worth what I'm selling it for, but sometimes I got to come down because nobody's budget. It's like nobody is going to buy it, you know. And it's not that it's not worth what I'm asking. It's just you can't always get what you want, you know, as far as the value of certain items. You can't. I remember, and then I'm going to sign off, and this is when the trading time was around. It was a local paper, and I missed the trading time. Now you got people selling stuff. They're not even musicians. They got it from some type of storage facility, or don't know shit about it. Some of them are honest enough to tell you, I know nothing about this. I'm not a musician, but I think this is the price or whatever. And normally when I see those, I buy it because they are reasonable. You do have a few people that don't have a clue, are just super greedy. You know, but for the most part, they're upfront and honest. But the trading time paper, the majority of people that sell it were musicians. And I remember it was a Fender Stingray. Was it a Stingray? Yeah. And the guy only wanted $100 for it. I'm like, hell yeah. I called him. He said, yeah, that sold about two hours after it was put in the paper. And somebody else told me that I could have got easily $400. Like, yeah, you could have got 5 for that. But he didn't know. He was not a musician, you know, and he wasn't trying to cheat anybody. He's being honest. And, you know, he got, you know, $100 is $100 more than you had. And I don't believe he bought that guitar. Somebody gave it to him, or somebody had willed it to him. So he still got $100 more than he had. So it's like, okay, well, be happy, dude, because you got something, you know, and you got something. It ain't like you gave it away and somebody took it and stole it, you know. But eBay. You can't beat eBay when it comes to selling your stuff. You can't. All them other places, and don't even think about the pawn shop. Don't even think about the pawn shop. You might as well keep it or give it away. But until next time, take care, and I hope this has been helpful to you guys.